Are you stuck in self-sabotage no matter how hard you try? Well, what if I told you that it's not because of your mindset techniques? You might be meditating, you might be visualizing, saying positive affirmations, tapping things out, doing all these cool things, but at the end of the day, if you're still self-sabotaging, you are not doing this process. I'm going to teach you one of the most powerful processes on the planet to completely eliminate self-sabotage. As crazy as that sounds, I dare you to prove me wrong. Put this to the test and eliminate your self-sabotage. Let's go. So you might be asking, well, first off, what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is an unconscious pattern that is an addiction in the body. And it's as if you throw a boomerang, try to get rid of it. It's like, I'm done with this thing. And it comes back twice as fast and it smacks you in the face. Self-sabotage sucks, and it makes you feel like you should be further ahead. It makes you feel uncertain and not good enough. It could be whether it's an action or a feeling or a thought or series of thoughts. Self-sabotage is manifested through these things in your body. And if you don't eliminate them, you can go years going in circles. Kind of like my friend Taryn. After learning about the process that I'm fixing to show you, he had self-sabotaged for years, trying to grow his business and help all sorts of cool foundations actually raise money and himself get paid for it. However, in self-sabotage, he had thoughts and feelings of not feeling good enough, not feeling capable, not feeling able to even make a six-figure income. And no matter how many external things he would use, internally, there was sabotage going on and it felt natural, it felt normal. If you don't change your thoughts, feelings, and actions in a strategic and systematic way, you will continue repeating cycles every single day that don't serve you. Just like that boomerang, you throw it, you're like, I'm done self-sabotaging. Comes back, smacks you in the face, only to make you more upset and frustrated, ready to give up. All right, so let's dive in and learn about how do you actually recognize self-sabotage and what do you do to completely eliminate it. So the pattern, because self-sabotage is dictated by patterns, reoccurring sensations, thoughts, and feelings in your body. And if you can recognize those and then learn this process that I'm fixing to show you, you can completely eliminate it, never to have it come back again. All right, let's dive in. I want you to think of self-sabotage kind of like a car. If you see a car, by the way, I'm an artiste, as you can see. If you have a car that is out of alignment, imagine that something's off with its tires, maybe something's wrong with the wheels, maybe it's slightly kinked or something, and it's going 80 miles an hour, okay? And then you have another vehicle going the same speed, 80 miles per hour, right? Yet, in this vehicle, everything's aligned perfectly. Which one requires more energy to produce the same result? The one that's out of alignment, right? Too often in our life, if we are self-sabotaging, we are choosing to be this vehicle. Going speed, crushing it, going getting goals, yet part of us feels like we should be further ahead because you're self-sabotaging. You're creating tension that's not necessary for you to actually get your goal. Turn the work of fighting against yourself into work of productivity. And that's the secret to get out of, or at least recognize and start to shift. How do I get out of this? Is recognizing that I'm in it and recognizing that it sucks, that it's annoying, and it's robbing me of the skill set and the work that I'm already putting in. So you might ask, like, how do I actually change self-sabotaging behaviors? Whether it's feeling not good enough, whether it's this sensation of, oh man, do I belong here? Can I do this? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I capable? All those thoughts and feelings are self-sabotage. It's being out of alignment, and they don't serve you at all. In fact, they rob your energy and your time. You might be thinking, well, maybe this is just a mindset thing. maybe I just need to meditate. Maybe I just need to work through some past trauma that caused this thing, which those can be helpful. However, it's not the solution. The solution is found in the body, in your body. In fact, did you know that success, they say a lot of gurus out there are like, hey, success is 80% mindset, 20% skill set. I challenge this because after putting in over 500, now I'm at over 600 different processes and techniques and over $1 million in my personal development, I found that there's something missing here. It's not just a mindset thing, because I worked the mind very hard. However, I still struggled. So why was I struggling when I was trying to do the thing that everybody said to do? It's because the success and the patterns are stored in your body. Just like a vehicle. Yeah, the motor's great, could be flowing, everything good. But if your body or the structure of what you're driving is off, then you're causing a lot of tension and a lot of frustration and a lot of failure. And through that, we want to dive into the body. So I'm going to teach you a process that you can use 5 minutes a day that will get you out of self-sabotage, whether it's a thought, a feeling, or a resistance to an action, so that you can go crush it. And I dare you, put this to the test, apply it. If it doesn't work, comment in the section and let me know, and I will do whatever it takes to get you the information and show you exactly how to make the shifts, okay? Because I've seen this work on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So with that, let's dive in to the process. All right, now this process is freaking crazy. And I'm gonna teach you, first off, why it works. Well, to understand this, we need to understand why self-sabotage works. If you think of a moment in your life right now when you've self-sabotaged, let's think of whether it's financially, whether it's with a relationship, maybe it's like just how you feel or how you tune into your higher power, whatever it might be, there's some area in your life that you are not crushing it in. And you're like, man, I need to get further ahead, right? Pick that topic. What is it? Got it? All right, with that topic, here we go. The reason why we go in circles, why we self-sabotage, is because part of us is acting off of what's called a disconnection or a separation, okay? This can happen through traumas, past pains, any type of thing that's non-ideal that confronts, for example, like for me, back when I was 12, my parents got a divorce. This caused a disconnection for me. And it caused a separation in my reality from where I was to where I wanted to go. I took on these identity, and that's the problem with self-sabotage is it's linked to your identity. So you have this identity that says, if this happens, then this happens. So for me, this identity was, oh, if my parents are hurting, then it's all my fault. If my parents are separating, then I should have done better. So we have these phrases that get locked inside of our minds and our bodies that feel so real that it becomes part of who we are. And that leads to self-sabotage. For me, it was pornography addictions, video games addictions, depression, suicidal tendencies. Those were not natural things. And the thing you're going through right now is not a natural thing. It is a self-sabotaging pattern that is actually a choice. And we want to get your choice back and switch that. Make sense? So the reason why this happens is because of a disconnection. We want to reconnect. Now, how do you reconnect? Well, that becomes the fun game. Every single disconnection can become what's called an addiction. Addictions are things in the body that are non-ideal that keep reoccurring. The opposite of this is what's called an allergy. An allergy are ideal things, whether it's in our body or external, some result we want, that are not happening, but we're trying to get to happen. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. To every addiction, there's actually an allergy. To every push, there's a pull. And self-sabotage when you are addicted to a pattern that's not ideal due to a disconnection, you are also pushing away simultaneously something that is ideal in your life, whether it's a health, wealth, or relationship piece. Now, how do you change this? Well, in your body, these fight-flight responses are being triggered every 0.13 seconds. It's like crazy. It's firing immediately in the body. And they're based on words and thoughts. You could be hearing me right now. You could be thinking a thought right now, and your body is going to have responses towards that word or those thoughts based upon your past perceptions and experiences. Some of those could be transformational. Some of those could be traumatic. And the traumatic ones become these allergies and addictions, which we want to change today. All right. So the key to change is stimulate those fight-flight responses. We actually want to trigger the fight-flight. So the first step is to trigger the thing that is non-ideal. Okay. We're going to do that through focusing on a goal, focusing on something you want or don't want. All right? Make sense? Got it so far? So if you want something or you don't want something, this is going to cause a push or a pull sensation, a fight or a flight. You'll feel some tension. You'll feel some uncertainty. You'll feel some doubts. It might be in the form of thoughts or feelings. And that then in turn goes into your body and you feel something. You may not be conscious of this feeling because you've tuned it out, but we're going to bring consciousness to it. So number one, trigger it. Okay? How do you do that? What you want or what you don't want. So right now I want you to think about something that you want or don't want. The more specific, the better. And the closer it is to happening or make it closer to happening, the more the triggered response. Don't think of something like, hey, yeah, I want to make $1 billion in 10 years. Time frame's too far out, so the trigger is not going to feel very real. But if you're like, cool, maybe I'm on my first 10K in a month or my first million in a month, whatever that is, the next level, that's a stretch, not so astronomically huge that it's not real, but that it's a stretch. I want you to think about that, okay? Tune into it, and you're going to feel where it's at in your body. Now, the second step after you trigger is then, once you locate it and you're triggering that response, now we actually want to tap on that area. Why do we tap? Well, if you don't tap on the specific spot, you're subconsciously just communicating it throughout your body. And you are just unconsciously sharing all of these feelings and beliefs, or you're stuffing it, and people pick up on that. In fact, they pick up on it, and then they just have these feelings like, hey, I don't think I should work with you. Something in your tone, something in how I just felt, it just something was off. Well, that something was these unknown triggers that are being kicked on that you haven't worked through yet. So trigger it, then we're going to tap it. Let's say I trigger something and I feel it here, okay? So I'm going to tap this location. Now I'm going to get into the next step, which is we're going to do what's called align. Now, this I developed about 5 years ago, and this was after going through about 600 different processes, and I found that there was something missing with all of the different techniques that I was taught. And it really came down to turning off fight-flight responses. That was the key. So aligning is this. You're going to tap the area. You're going to tap on your forehead all the way down to the back of your neck, this C7 bulge here. And you're going to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. We're going to repeat that 3 times in a row. Why do you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth? Well, let me tell you. You might be thinking, Tyler, why would I do something so goofy as that? Well, in a fight-flight response, the first thing to go is your breath. So you want to bring consciousness to a calming effect, which is in through the nose, out through the mouth, while tapping on the forehead down to the back of the neck. Think about it like this. Think about a rock being thrown into a pond, making a ripple, right? That ripple has an effect that's going to affect your entire whole body. Your body's like the pond. The rock is like the triggered response. However, when you're tapping from the forehead down to the back of the neck, imagine other little rocks being thrown around that ripple, that traumatic response. And if you have two waves that hit each other, it neutralizes. So not only are you neutralizing that fight-flight response, you're also choosing a conscious, calming sensation when unconsciously you want to get excited and like fear and not breathe. Okay, that's the first part. So into the nose, out to the mouth. You're going to do that 3 times. In, out, in, out. Now, while tapping, you're going to switch the breath to a panting sensation like this. 3 times. What that does is now you're consciously putting yourself into a flight response, which is so crazy because any conscious choice overrides an unconscious choice. Unconsciously, your trigger is saying run, then it's saying like hide, then it's saying fight. So if you can consciously calm or hide and then consciously run, all of a sudden the body's it starts to freak out and it's like, hey, I thought I was the master here. But no, you bring your consciousness back and you say, I am the master of my emotions. My emotions do not master me. And you start to create this new sensation. At the end of doing the tapping and breathing, you smile. And that is a basic form of what I call aligning. It's called Cellular Alignment Technique. And then the smiling releases endorphins, which will allow you to choose. Because at the end of the day, all self-sabotage is being in a state where it feels like it's not your choice. It feels like you're acted upon instead of acting on it. And you become a victim in that state. When you can get back your choice, get back into that state of alignment, tune that car back in to where it needs to go. Now you can go 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour without fighting yourself over and over and over and get 10 times further faster, right? That's what you want. You want to win and win big. So we want to pinpoint the trigger, tap on the location, and then align, all right? Now, the kicker to this is you can vocalize, you can get really specific on this. And if you want to learn more, check out the links in the description or subscribe, do what it takes, do the clicks, whatever you need to do to learn more on this. This is a new language. So don't think that you're going to master it all in just this video. That's why I've created courses and books and things that you can get access to. Just check out the description if this resonates, okay? But in aligning, we want to dive into a couple things here. After you're in this alignment, you can do it on non-ideals and ideals. Anything that's going to trigger you. This is the addiction. This is the allergy, okay? So if I was going to specifically trigger something, some self-sabotage, I might vocalize it. And the more extreme you can take it, the better. It's called law of extremes, which if you take something super extreme, like a hot thing, super, super, super hot, it actually kind of feels cold. If you take something cold and take it super, super, super cold, it'll feel hot and burn you. So it's called law of polarity or law of extremes, where if you take something super, super extreme, it'll come back and neutralize. So with these, you can do that. So let's say I got my trigger, maybe I'm focusing on something that I want, and I can vocalize the self-sabotage. Maybe it's like, I don't feel good enough. I feel like I suck at this. I can't do this. I suck and I'm going to quit. Whatever it is, or I don't belong. Who am I? I've got gap teeth. No one cares about me. I'm too young. I can't make millions of dollars. Whatever that sabotage is, vocalize it, tap it, and then align it. Smile. Then go back, maybe vocalize some ideals. I can do this. I could feel like I'm good enough. And you can meet you where you're at and go further, right? I totally could dominate. I do belong. I'm epic. I can make the 10,000 a month or the million a month. I can keep more money. Whatever ideal for you. Tune in. Where do you feel it? Tap it. Align it. Okay? So I challenge you. Put this to the test. If you have trouble pinpointing it, rate it before you do this. Okay? Rate that level of trigger. How bad does it feel or how good does it feel? 10 could be ideal, 0 is like it just sucks. And rate it, go through a process here, re-rate it, and then new things will come up that you may not have confronted or that you might have missed. All right? So now you know you could do this 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes. If you want to get out of self-sabotage, you don't have to meditate for 2 hours. You don't have to think positive all the time. You don't have to, go change the world. All you do is have to confront what's inside, start pinpointing the triggers, get out of those fight flight responses, get into a state of alignment, and go crush your goals. Got it? Okay. Like, subscribe, do whatever it takes, click those links, and check out the description for more. But get out of self-sabotage, put this to the test, and we'll see you soon.